This week on the No More Late Fees podcast, Jackie and I are joined by fellow Blerd, and if you don't know what that means, Black nerd, Patrice, aka my favoriteest cousin. But before our episode drops later this week, we wanted to give you guys a chance to get to know Patrice with some fun games. Hello, Patrice.
Hi, cousin.
Welcome.
Hi, Jackie.
Hey.
Oh, man. So obviously the invite was because you're my cousin, but what people don't know is that you are very, very, very well-rounded when it comes to all things comic books, anime, all the nerd shit. You got it. You got more nerd shit than me sometimes. I'm very proud of how I raised you.
Thank you. You did a good job. You done
Thank
good.
you. Thank you. Yeah, I think there are not a lot of people on the internet that make me laugh very hard, and you do a very good job at that.
Thank you.
Really, I wanted you to come on the podcast more than anything so that we can make sure you're convinced to start your podcast.
Ooh, what kind of podcast do you want to do, Patrice?
Yes, Patrice, tell the listeners.
So Danielle has been yelling at me for a little over some years now for me to be starting a podcast. I do have an Instagram page for it called Dial B for Blerd. If you want to follow me on Instagram.
Doing it right now.
I will be doing something eventually. It'll be about all things blerdy and nerdy, anime, comic books, all that good stuff. You know, Marvel's about to go into the new phase. So there should be a lot of content to pull from and talk about.
Very, very exciting. So, you ready for the game?
Sure.
Jackie's going to read you some questions. We're doing this or that Marvel edition. But we have stuck to the Marvel movies that came out from the years 1995 to 2005. So, no MCU.
Okay, fair enough.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Our first one is Spider-Man versus X-Men.
Definitely Spider-Man. The X-Men films are the bane of my existence.
And for those of you who are not elder millennials, this Spider-Man that we're referring to is the one with Tobey Maguire. So technically, we do have some MCU in here.
Right. We do have one, I think. Right? Incredible Hulk.
Spider-Man.
No. Oh, spoiler alert if you haven't
Yeah.
seen.
Danielle spoiled it on a couple episodes ago.
Oh, my bad. Oh, I guess retroactively you are correct.
Yep.
It is soon. I'm guessing all of these will soon be MCU.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Number 2, The Punisher or Ghost Rider.
not the head back.
These were dark times for Marvel's movies, I must say. Oh, I'm gonna go with The Punisher for the sheer violence.
At least he was kind of hot in it. Like,
what was his name?
Was it Thomas Jane?
I just didn't think he was he was not a good choice to play Punisher.
Yeah, I agree.
They actually did a really good job casting the guy for the TV show. I thought he did a much better job.
His name is Forever Shane from The Walking Dead. I don't even remember.
But Ghost Rider is just fun because Nicolas Cage. It's so bad, but it's so hilarious.
Elektra versus Daredevil.
Like I said, the times just keep getting more and more depressing. I want to say Elektra for the sheer girl power, that it was cool to see, you know, a female badass. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So our next one is the Fantastic Four or Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Can I pick neither? Flips table. I'm gonna say the Silver Surfer one only because it was cool to see the Silver Surfer actually be brought to screen.
Yeah.
It was.
And I think that was like, I think it is actually one of the first, like the early Marvel films that showed like cosmic beings. Like now, obviously with the MCU, we're getting into that more, but up until that point, I don't think we had really seen a whole lot of like space stuff from.
Yeah.
Like,
They did
Marvel.
Mostly Earthbound. We did
Yeah.
not get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
X-Men Last Stand versus X-Men 2.
I'm gonna go with The Last Stand only because I love Storm, and though it is again the bane of my existence that they chose Halle Berry to play Storm, she at least got some shine in that movie.
Yeah.
I felt like the first two movies she was just there. She didn't really do much, and in the third movie she was kind of like the de facto leader for most of the movie.
Jackie, did we see X-Men together? And
yes. And so Danielle is my source of all things Marvel. It's where I get all of my Marvel knowledge. And even now I will call after I watch a Marvel movie so we can debrief about it and she can tell me what they fucked up. Like that is her role. And so we went to see X-Men. I knew nothing. Like I had never been exposed to comic books. I was the oldest. My dad wasn't really into comic books. He was much more like a sci-fi nerd. And so we're like sitting in the theater and Danielle will lean over and be like, she eventually becomes the Phoenix. Like she just like had these things and she was just like, this is this person. This is this person. They fucked up that storyline, like the entire movie. And I was just like, okay, I'm getting some knowledge here.
I was
even try.
So mad. Bryan Singer, I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you.
He deserves to be jumped.
Yeah.
He deserves to be jumped. And then you know that audio clip where it was some gang member getting jumped in the audio clip, he's like getting beat up and you hear the guy in the back saying, fight back as he's getting beat up. It would make me so happy to see that with that exact audio clip in the background.
I would pull out my Timbs for that kind of heat. Okay. I don't condone violence, but in that particular situation,
the Timbs are necessary.
Yes.
As New Yorkers would say, dead ass B.
Hulk versus the Incredible Hulk. So really it's Eric Bana or Edward Norton.
I guess Edward Norton.
Who was Betty in that one? Was it Liv Tyler?
Yeah. I just feel like, can you imagine what the movies would have been with an Edward Norton as continuing?
Him and Terrence Howard, I wonder how often they're just like fumbled the bag.
But I feel like Edward Norton, I feel like he really did that to himself. And I feel like he almost just said, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. I don't think he would have been good with this level of, he chooses these indie movies on purpose. Like, I don't know.
And I don't think he has the levity that Mark Ruffalo brings to the Hulk. Like it would be a much more serious Hulk.
Yeah. Like I can't see him in it. Everything worked out for the best.
Yeah.
He couldn't even do that movie without like rubbing everyone the wrong way. I can't see him being in like Endgame and Avengers with all these different actors and all these different personalities. It probably would have been a disaster, honestly.
Yeah.
Facts.
It's like now you're in this MCU with like Robert Downey Jr. and all these people who are uber famous and
no. Hard pass on that one.
Our next one is Blade 2 versus Spider-Man 2.
I'm gonna pick Blade 2.
Are you in the camp that believes that Spider-Man 2 is the best one in that trilogy?
No. I actually wasn't that much of a fan of that trilogy, if I'm being honest. Like I watched it, it was cool, but it wasn't like amazing to me.
It wasn't the amazing
The Amazing
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I see what you did there.
My brain went there too.
It wasn't even spectacular. It wasn't the Amazing Spider-Man. It wasn't none of that.
It was just Spider-Man 2.
And our last one, Blade Trinity versus Spider-Man 3.
Again, I'm gonna go with Blade.
Yeah, even that shit show was better than the other shit show.
Listen, I love Blade Trinity. I don't care that they got a pro wrestler in there and Parker Posey for some reason. But I mean, you give me Hannibal, and I'm a happy camper.
The thing is, I loved that movie when it came out, but I tried watching it the other day and I was like, "Who Jesus can't do it?" All right, I've got a question for all of us. Which Marvel character has had the best depiction on screen outside of the creation of the MCU?
So as much as we just talked about how we hate X-Men, I do feel like they casted pretty well with the exception of a couple, mainly Halle Berry. Patrick Stewart, I think, is a perfect Professor X, honestly.
Yeah,
So
100%.
I think I would vote for him.
I think Hugh Jackman has been an amazing Wolverine. I mean, I think they could have CGI'd him to make him shorter. That would have been my only thing. But I love what he brought to the role, but I also love that he was just gung-ho for it. Like, he's not too good for it. He still went and did serious movies. He went and did his Oscar bait, but he never shied away from that role and is just like the kindest human being ever. So I think they did a good job with that.
So are we staying within 95 to 2005?
As long as it's not in the MCU, I guess.
Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool.
Yeah, that's not an MCU. They did amazing with that.
I mean, he is Deadpool and he does such a fucking amazing job. I love it.
The only reason I didn't say Blade is because Wesley Snipes wasn't acting. That bitch was Blade. I mean, Ryan Reynolds does say it when he's asked about when he was in Blade Trinity, what it was like working with Wesley. He's like, never met him. I've only met Blade.
Yes.
That's
so. All right. Well, if you guys have any feedback or any questions or you want to roast us for anything that we said, hit us up on social. We're at No More Late Fees on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And you can find Patrice at
That'll be for Blerd on Instagram. That would be me.
And stay tuned for our Blade episode later this week with Patrice.
And as always, be kind and rewind.